Good afternoon and welcome to Pan-African News. We are coming to you from our studios in Abelinkwe 48 Swanika Street here in Accra. Let me remind you that we are streaming live on Facebook at Pan-African Television. We are live on YouTube at Pan-African Television. My name is Justice Apia. Coming up in our bulletin, UPP launches manifesto and outdoors flag bearer. Now, former President Jerry John Rawlings has asked EC to ensure integrity in the upcoming December polls. Volta Regional Minister Archibald Lecha says he will sue those claiming he supports Togolanders. Later in business, workers urged to invest in Tier 3 pension scheme. Details of these stories, including international sports and entertainment, will come your way for the next 1 hour. We are going for a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back now to some election-focused stories. The National Democratic Congress's parliamentary candidate for Okankwe North constituency, Abraham Kote Nikwe, has disclosed his firm determination to win the Okankwe North seat in the upcoming December elections. He debunked assertions that the constituency is a stronghold for the ruling New Patriotic Party. Speaking to Pan-African News during his campaign launch on Saturday, September 3, 2020, Mr. Kote Nikwe indicated that with the coming into force of the new voters register, the constituency is no more a stronghold for any candidate. He said it is shameful for the New Patriotic Party to refer to Okankwe North as a stronghold without any significant development. The NDC parliamentary candidate further accused the New Patriotic Party of a monumental failure after winning the seat for the past 24 years. He cited areas in the constituency, including Aveno, that lacked basic amenities such as hospitals, cheap compounds, schools, among others.
Yeah, now I'm going out to work hard to win the seat. With the new registration, nobody have a stronghold. They used to have here a stronghold when over 104,000 people vote here. With the new registration, now we have 89,000. And I can tell them that now the Kumase people have gone with their vote. Now it's the Gan people and the Northness and the Ewes and the Fantis. So now they can never say she is a stronghold. And even if they want to claim that is a stronghold, it's a shame to them to call a place a stronghold where an environment like an electoral area like Aveno, who have over electoral area like Aveno, that you have over 90 companies on their land. They don't have a school. They don't even have a cheap compound. And you want to boast that this is your stronghold.
Mr. Kote Nikwe promised to reduce unemployment in the area by 50% in his 2 years in office. The energy consultant says he would invoke the labor law to ensure that some 224 companies located in the constituency give preference to persons living in the area.
I told you when I come, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to reduce the unemployment by 50% my 2 years in office. I'll stand on the labor law, and with a number of 224 companies within my jurisdiction, I'm going to stand on them as a leader. I will walk into these companies and then lobby my way out. I'll let the companies know that we have the degree holders here, we have the HND holders, the diploma holders here, we have the JSS and the SS, and then we have those who don't have certificates at all.
He also called on the New Patriotic Party candidate to accept a challenge for a debate since she failed to show up on the earlier one.
I want to tell them that the last time, that is the Friday, I was waiting for my opponent so that we can debate on what they've done so far for the 24 years. But unfortunately, she ran away. And I'm telling her that, look, it is not about party colors anymore. The people now know what is happening. Come and convince them. You can't stand on, this is our stronghold. That is gone way back. This is nobody's stronghold. And I will prove it to them. I will make it our stronghold by performing very well. Because I know when I come and I will not perform it, the Okakwe South people will sack me. So if I perform and the one comes after me will perform, then one can say there's a stronghold.
Some Okada riders who spoke to the news team after the launch indicated reasons for endorsing the NDC parliamentary candidate.
JM and NDC union no omo boye omo pese Okada fo no eya adwuma e na Okada fo no nsoso ye ya adwuma ye de hwe ye sisters no ye brothers ye de hwe ye mama no ye papa no mo ana se ye kola ye wo yiri ni ma wo fie ye de hwe omo omo de ko school ye hwe omo to duane ma omo da bia nti responsible Okada riders nti ye pese onjai party number power no mun legalize Okada no mun regulate na entimi ya adwuma na mfa support o man no anu no your message no yes of course I am illegal ya legalize here but joma ba obe legalize amaye na ombe regulate anya legalization no kwa na ehwe ombe regulate because for now no nipa bebre aya adwuma no nipa bebre omo wo ho a omo ye graduates and I'm here Okada Juma because Juma no work no until I hear Juma no.
We apologize for the misrepresentation of the constituency that was Okankwe South. Rather, it was in Okankwe North. Away from that, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has revealed that the New Patriotic Party's accomplishment via their master plan is what will retain them in power. Speaking during the rally at Abelinkwe to begin the campaign for Member of Parliament for the Ayawaso West Uwogon constituency, he further disclosed that only those who are taking their time to follow the MPP's master plan can better appreciate why President Akufo-Addo needs to be re-elected.
The Abelinkwe school was packed to capacity amidst dancing and cheering by party faithfuls within the constituency when the Vice President and his entourage arrived. In a welcome address on behalf of the Abelinkwe chief, his spokesperson Alhassan Abu thanked the government for improved road network within Abelinkwe and its environs.
Because he has the master plan. I am pleasantly surprised of the achievements of this government. And all what we say is, God bless them. We give them another 4 years.
In an address, the Member of Parliament for Ayawaso West Wogon, Lydia Seyram Al-Hassan, touted her achievements and urged the constituents to retain her and the party on December 7, 2020.
One factory, and then there are 30 factories across the country. Abba and Juma, Abba and Mamro, Womanya and Juma. Yeah. Now, one constituency, one ambulance. Napo, Graduate Unemployment Association.
In the same vein, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia indicated that the party's master plan, coupled with its numerous accomplishments, was crucial to retaining power for 4 more years.
NDC plan President Kufo Kutano. Omuntimi si sadaya President Kufo si koi. Ati ekoto wabaye noa na yedemba NDC fo. Omuba ebaye mo ye kanjira Ghana for say omunim plan. Nensi na ube sidai unim plan na sedai no bebubu na yeriko. In 2016 Nanado Dankwa Kufuado Ubaya Ose Yes Sabain Kufuado Baye Nabidia Dae Buguno Ye caught there for plan review. There's this plan here President Kufuo starting Ye Betuaso 18 I say Opeso Bia Yan India free senior high school education. Now can almost say 419. Or buy a first budget, free senior high school education. 1.2 million children. School. Your mama can say, over 2 billion Ghana cedis on free education. And yes, I know kind. And then I say, young voting man, but over free.
Still on the election-focused stories, flag bearer of the opposition United Progressive Party, UPP, Akwesi Adaiodike, said he will review Ghana's 1992 constitution within its 100 days in office when elected as president to strip what he terms as excessive powers to the executive arm of government. He made this known at a ceremony in Kumasi in the Ashanti region when he was outdoored as the flag bearer of the party.
Theme changing the status quo at its National Delegates Congress in Kumasi. The Congress also saw the outdooring of the party's founder, Akwesi Adaiodike, as the flag bearer for the December polls. Speaking at the manifesto launch, the United Progressive Party leader said the excessive powers given to the executive arm of government by the Constitution will be reviewed when he gets the nod as the next elected president of the Republic of Ghana.
When excessive powers are reposed on a leader, it corrupts everything. We are going to strip the excessive powers of the executive and transfer it to the people to empower them to be more accountable, demanding from our leaders. The Constitution has given so much power to the president that the president can do whatever he wants to do and get away with it. Checks and balances is no more there. The executive arm of the government goes to parliament and pick 50% of the ministers. Do you know what it means? Nobody can impeach any sitting president. The people of this country are being so much suppressed, so much abused by this constitution. Our court system is not effective. Our local governance system is not effective. Our policing is not effective because of political influence. Economic inequalities has become it's widespread. And if the gap between the half and the half-not keep widening, the recipe is chaos. It's what we are witnessing from voter reading. The best way to solve it is to empower Ghanaians, strip most of the excessive powers from the president and give it to the people, to make the people feel a sense of belongingness. And the people will have power to the people. The people must have power to hold the leaders accountable. Now we don't have it.
That report was filed by my colleague Oscar Akaba. Now, former President Jerry John Rawlings has, in a meeting with the chiefs of the Anglon traditional area, called on the Electoral Commission to uphold the sanctity and integrity of the 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections by ensuring that the electoral register is cleaned following recent reports of missing names and other challenges during the exhibition exercise. The former president also stated that notwithstanding the good intentions of government to protect the country's territorial interest and integrity, the recent deployment of the military and other security services that sparked some disaffection could have been done without the passion it generated.
At a meeting last week, former president raised these observations after conferring with the National Security Minister. The latter inquired if he had any concerns about current national issues. The delegation of chiefs, led by the Awadada of the Anlo State, Togbe Agbesi Owusu II, who came to mourn the demise of Madam Victoria Agbotui, mother of the former president, and the Queen Mother of the Anlo State, said aside consoling him, they had planned to visit to express solidarity over the outrageous fabrications and truths and disgusting historical distortions published in a recent book. Togbe Awadada said, the undisputable integrity of former President Rawlings, his contributions to national development, and the dividends of his exceptional leadership is what we enjoy today as the Fourth Republic. According to him, the customs of our law makes it imperative for the chiefs and elders of the land to call upon their son and the immediate bereaved family to confirm the sad news, offer their condolences, and equally use the opportunity to offer special prayers for the departed soul and the bereaved family. According to Togbe Owusu Agbeshi II, emerging developments in the region by a group of people calling for secession and declaring Volta as not part of the Republic of Ghana is not only worrisome but endangers peace and national cohesion and must be discouraged. The chairman of the Funeral Planning Committee and the stool father of the Anlo State, Daniel Abodakpi, expressed the family's profound gratitude to the chiefs for the kind support and for the fact they had lived through the true history of the role the former president and his government played and will not allow anyone to distort that story. Former President Rawlings thanked the chiefs and elders of Anlo State for their support and wise counsel to bring his mother home for the final funeral. He reiterated the need for such a remarkable step and was grateful for the construction of a sea defense wall which had renourished the coastline and brought some form of control to prevent the sea from doing the usual damage of land erosion. He noted that it was equally his prayer that government will claim more land extending up to Aplau for the people living along that stretch to have access to more land for socio-economic development. He further stated the essence of sending the mortal remains of the elders of the land back home to deepen the values and spirituality of the traditional area and call for the protection of such cultural values.
Now, the Member of Parliament for South Tong constituency, Honorable Kobla Mensah Woyome, has called for the condemnation of persons and groups linked to secessionist attacks in the Volta region and thorough investigations of the issue. His remarks were in reference to the regional minister's threat to sue those who have cited him for alleged involvement in the attack. We are joined on the line by Member of Parliament for South Tong, Honorable Mensah Woyome, for explanation on why the issue should be probed. Honorable, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Thank you so much for joining us on Midday this afternoon. Tell us why you think that the issue should be thoroughly probed.
The issue should be thoroughly investigated. And it should be thoroughly investigated so that the so many questions on the minds of people in the region can be well answered. And then all will feel at least comfortable to know that the state security is really ready and proactive to prevent what is happening going forward. We need to live together. There are means to address issues, and I think we can always employ those peaceful means to address issues than the what is happening. And so there is a need for some investigation. But the Volta Caucus members of Parliament are doing further discussions, and so maybe at the right time will come out. Hello? 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 Hello?
All right. Yeah, Honorable, I can hear you. Honorable, now tell us, do you have an idea why people are alleging that the regional minister may be behind some of those attacks in the region?
I wouldn't know reasons why the allegations are so pronounced, but it's for, I think, it behoves on the regional minister to come out and to sort of clear the air. So I think I wouldn't know why. The allegations are so pronounced out there, very much. And so there would be a need for him to come out. I think that was why we were thinking that some, investigations should be initiated into this. But I think he is listening, and I know he's a nice gentleman, and so we just hope that they do the needful.
Okay, so finally, before I let you go, do you in any way think that persons fomenting troubles in the region might not necessarily be, the secessionist groups, but rather some political actors who are behind some of these things?
It's a possibility. It's a possibility looking at the way he's been cited by people in the allegations that are making the rounds. The allegations that are making the rounds, names and all that. So it will be very, very important that, that is why there's a need for some transparency in the process of investigating and coming to a firm.
Well, unfortunately, we've lost Honorable Komla Mensah, who is a member of Parliament for South Tong constituency. We shall follow up on this matter and bring you up to speed, whatever may happen with regards to the issue, with regards to the probe that some members of Parliament are calling for. Now, a communicator for the Convention People's Party, Sylvester Sapon Soprano, has expressed his disappointment over the endorsement of President Akufo-Addo's second-term bid by the Ochihini after the latter at Deba threw his support behind the head of state, citing the major development in policy and infrastructure as the reason behind his action. There's more on this report.
What can I say? We have high reverence for our chiefs, especially the more consequential ones. And Ochihini is no doubt one of the more consequential traditional leaders that we have. Personally, especially looking at his statements made in the spirit of the 1992 Constitution, I am very saddened. I'm very saddened. I juxtapose the Ochihini's enthusiastic, public, effusive support for the politician, President Nana Akufo-Addo. Okay, I juxtapose Ochihini's support, open support for him, versus, I juxtapose that to the position of, say, Nana Asante-Hene, you understand, who, when President Mahama went to visit him on a campaign stop, advised that chiefs should stop, pandering to politicians, and that a politician coming to see him, the only advice that Asante says is God for them. And he said the same to President Akufo-Addo when he also visited, if I'm not mistaken, that run on your record. Run on your record. What have you done for the country? Between President Akufo-Addo and former President John Mahama, both gentlemen have had the opportunity to, be at the helm of affairs, to run this country. You understand? For about 4 years, you could say.
In offering a rebuttal to this statement, Nana Fredua Ofori-Atta said the Ochihini did not err in urging his people to vote for the MPP due to the immense developments they have brought to Ghanaians. He also noted that was not the first time a party has been endorsed by a traditional ruler, and revealed both the MPP and NDC have had their fair share of endorsement.
And I have no problems with Nananum endorsing one person or the other. It has happened from time immemorial. This is not the first time. Our problem with that constitutional provision is that they're saying that you don't want a traditional leader of the stature of the Ochihini or the Asante or the Okuapin or the Kwauhi to get into the gutter with people like us, because it allows us to throw dirt at them. But it doesn't say that they cannot endorse. They vote. They vote. They don't go Who's heard that the Asantini has bought T-shirts and branded a car and gone and written some proposal to a political party? Who's heard that about their Ochin? They vote. So the issue should be stated properly and factually, and let's deal with that. Now, when a leader, a traditional leader, sees something, they shouldn't say it. And yet that traditional leader, when something goes wrong, we attack the person. So if you come to Achimebwakwa, and for the information of everybody, Achimebwakwa starts when you hit this Accra and Sawam road. The minute you get to Sawam, you are in Achimebwakwa. As soon as you cross into Adoejiri, you are in Achimebwakwa. And it's all the way up to New JDT, on just that road. If you go east, just before you get to Kufudia, just I keep forgetting the name, before Sushain. I'm talking about just the roads as your reference point.
Right.
So all these areas, you go to Akwatia, it's all under the Ochin. Should we talk about Asantimai? How big it is? Should we talk about that? When things go wrong, don't we attack them? So when they see things and they also make their demands, should those demands not be met? And when therefore they see something that they believe has worked for their people over the years, should they not comment? So then what is the essence of having them? Because there's a certain mindset that now traditional authority is only fit to be in cloth and in skins and in batakari, sitting in palanquins, and that's all we know. We don't know what they do intricately in their work. Why is it that the millions of Ghanaians follow all those people, more so than even politicians? When you enter a palace, it doesn't matter which political party you belong to. Everybody changes to become one.
Following a directive by the Ghana Education Service for pupils and students of both junior high schools and senior high schools to reopen today, our news team visited some educational facilities to find out whether classes had begun and has filed this report. We are crossing over to the Ashanti region and speak to our Ashanti regional correspondent Isaac Autry to tell us the situation in the Ashanti region currently. Hello? Isaac, can you hear me? Hello, Isaac.
Yeah, hello.
Tell us what you can report from the Ashanti region on the reopening of schools as directed by the Ghana Education Service.
Thank you very much. As we all know, nationally, the president has declared that the senior high school, Form 2 senior high school students and also junior high school students should be resumed to school after the COVID-19 measurement. And of course, we all know that during this pandemic period, the government actually put in a lot of mechanisms to ensure that students and also people wouldn't be affected within this particular pandemic as a means of fighting these particular measures. But of course, nationally and also in the Ashanti region, schools have been reopening. Made some few moves to go to some of the schools where students were realized coming back. This morning, I went to Osei senior high schools in the Ashanti region here in Ekropom, where we realized that most of the was also really in. But they are also with the actual box. Apart from all these things, we realize that there will also be a sign of COVID-19 measures that should really adhere to ensure that they will protect themselves while they are staying on various campuses. So we ensure that they no marks, no entry have been placed, and also different forms of Veronica and watching point. We visited, so we spoke to quite few number of people who told us that now they don't feel really scared about the situation any longer. They feel that the pandemic wouldn't affect their staying on campus because they have come back to school, are freshened, their activities at home have also been ridiculed and also have also been pampered. But of course, as it all come in, they are going to ensure that they will exercise the necessary measures that could really prevent them on some of these things. I also moved there from Oseti to Senior High School to Yasantua Senior High School at Town also all here in the Ashanti region, where we realized the same as I reported earlier on, that most of these students have already arrived in school and they are really prepared to, embark on learning activities as it is now.
All right, thank you so much for speaking to us. That was Ashanti Regional Correspondent Isaac. He has been telling us how things are panning out in the region with regards to the reopening of schools as directed by the Ghana Education Service today. Now, breast cancer, which mostly affects women, in the most common cause of cancer deaths in Ghana. According to the Ghana Health Service, previous studies suggest that Ghanaian women are diagnosed at a younger and more advanced age with features similar to African American women.
Women getting breast cancer in Ghana has shot up over the years and is expected to rise with changing lifestyles and increased reporting of cases. In Ghana, there were over 2,000 cases of breast cancer in 2012. Only 1 to 2 of breast cancers are found in men, and most of the patients are between 40 and 49 years. The key to successful treatment of breast cancer lies in its early detection. Unfortunately, 60 to 70% of Ghanaian women reported to hospitals in the late stages when the cancer cells may have already spread to other parts of the body. This is what eventually leads to death. Breast cancer can be cured and controlled, but it's only possible when the cancer is detected early through screening. It is important to understand that breast cancer does not start with pain, although a persistent pain at the same location is to be investigated. The goal of breast cancer screening test is to find it before symptoms show up. For instance, a lump that can be felt. Women must therefore conduct monthly breast self-examinations where the woman checks the breast herself. Doing this on a regular basis makes one familiar with one's breast, and any changes can be identified early. Self-examination of the breast is best done after your menstruation or period using the flat surfaces of the fingers. One stands in front of a mirror and watches the breast. First with hands by the side, next by lifting up the hands above the head, and finally by placing the hands on the hips. During these movements, the breast is observed for any changes. Afterwards, one can lie down flat on the back with one hand under the head, while the remaining hand is used to examine the breast. Use the fingers to press gently against the breast and chest in a circular motion. Go around the entire breast and into the armpit while doing this. Finally, squeeze on the nipple to check for any discharge. The hands are then changed over to examine the other side. Some people prefer to do this examination while taking a shower, as it may be easier to feel a lump when the skin is wet. In this case, the hand is raised up and put behind the neck in lieu of under the head while lying down. Breast cancer is usually treated with a combination of methods such as surgery, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and hormonal tablets. The decision as to what to use will be based on the patient type of breast cancer and the stage of the cancer. The earlier diagnosis is made, the better the chances of a cure. Early detection and effective treatment is the only cure for breast cancer. We therefore encourage women especially to be vigilant and get screened by a health professional. Take charge of their health by getting their breast screened regularly. If you have a close relative who has had breast cancer, you may need a personalized screening plan by a specialist. Remember, early detection and effective treatment of breast cancer saves lives.
Well, as we all know, we are in the month of October, which has been marked as the Breast Cancer Month, and as part of Pan-African Television's initiative to observe and create awareness on the day, we have filed that particular report. We'll continue to work on similar reports to observe the month and equally create awareness. We are going for a short break. We'll be back with the happenings in the world of business.
Hello?
Oh, Sisiana sound.
Okay, what do you mean? Why? My wife comes and send a message. Hello? I didn't know. What's happened?
It's a child who will be a quiet say what? I dare say,
Miss I found a friend. I'm so young. My wife not testing messages here. And my office also. I'm trying to tell man. She says, I
mean, so we a guy manu and may young who could look cry. And also wants a family drilling company limited for Kana.
What's it name? Family Drilling Company Limited.
Ye two borehole, biofuel, biogas, swimming pool. Plumbing works in Danso. Ye be Frey 0240-333-111 and that's 0244-144-822.
Nyampa nene. We want swimming pool on me see. We want to. We will be here. Family drilling now. Family drilling.
Breakfast is your last shit.
Me out with that
na jawti kan mu deda do bi presi wa se wan timi ansi
mate me sis me sire why na me yifa na cheche wo e dai malaria din ya chinsa
e da kwa kuma 2 years so no dan proke heba mister osisi mbadu se from oyire nso doctor ka chene se o malaria mo ani bu oni pedue mu a so no dank antima x yare malaria ebe kokra obi wo hono ma ne yem ye ne yanso a so no dank gastro care heba mister ho beto dank phyto care heba mister koko ebe ye hu aduma ma wapo no wapo so won tutu dank extra care heba mister obenya hoden ne watimi anante make afo dank no nyina e de amamo
na ebenya dwe nya bi we
pharmacy shop and a herbal shop also per dank no a ye be ma obi
pa chomo number ye sen
0266593330
enroi oba penfo oba ma akranufo anya akra woni mfie du mienu ntime no FDA ahwehwe sa edwadie nkratoe mu agya tum se eye.
Welcome back. Now let's do some business stories. The president of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association, Ghana, GLOSAC, Dr. Evans Jikum, has advised workers to make a deliberate effort to invest part of their earnings in the voluntary Tier 3 pension scheme administered by private sector.
Dr. Evans Jikum said that was the surest way to what he described as a happy old age, as majority of workers under the present pension scheme would be entitled to only a quarter of their cut incomes during retirement. Launching a new pensions fund by Hedge Pensions Trust in Accra, Dr. Jikum stated that although every worker retired with the hope of enjoying a good life, some get disappointed at the end of their working life because some employers fail to pay their workers contributions as expected. However, he explained that the introduction of the two new pension tiers, Tier 2 and 3, have paved the way for employers and employees to contribute more for a better future. As per the Pension Act 2008, Act 766, Ghana operates a 3-tier pension scheme. Tier 1 is made up of a mandatory monthly contribution of 13.5% of the basic salary managed by the SNIT. Tier 2 is a mandatory contribution of 5% basic salary managed by a licensed fund manager, while the Tier 3 is an optional contribution also managed by licensed private fund managers. Being volunteer contributions to the Tier 3 scheme are up to the employee and employer to determine how much of the employee's salary will be contributed to it. One of the benefits of investing in the Tier 3 pension scheme, Dr. Jikum explained, was that government will give tax relief on pension at retirement, and also one can take his or her pension savings as a tax-free lump sum upon retirement. Now is the time to save into the fund to secure the future and have a better pension life, he added. Consequently, Mr. Jikum urged workers, especially members of the cloak SAG, to take advantage of the new pensions fund by Hedge Pensions Trust.
That'll be all for the business story. But coming up on the international front, there is a pandemic of immunity for human rights violation in Yemen, says UN report. Details shortly after this break.
Breakfast a day. Every day. Every day.
Nestle. Good food, good life.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Now let's do some international stories from our international partners. People's Dispatch. The third report of the group of eminent international and regional experts on Yemen was formally presented to the Human Rights Council. The report highlights the detail of scores of human rights and international law violations in Yemen, including indiscriminate airstrikes, recruitment of child soldiers, unlawful killings, sexual abuse, and torture, among others.
The report, titled as Yemen, A Pandemic of Immunity in a Tortured Land, was released on September 9, 2020. It covers the period between July 2019 and June 2020. The report says that many of those human rights and international law violations in Yemen amount to war crimes. According to the report, all the parties involved in the decades-long war are responsible for those violations. The report argues that the forces loyal to the exiled government of Yemen under the leadership of Abdrabba Mansour Hadi and its international partners such as Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates have regularly indulged in war crimes. It also indicts Houthi rebel forces for similar violations. The report demands the UN Secretary Council to refer the situation in Yemen to the International Criminal Court and expand the list of persons sanctioned by it. It also asks for the creation of an international criminal justice mechanism in Yemen. It also recommends the creation of a special court to deal with the international crimes committed during the war in Yemen. The war in Yemen started after Saudi-led international coalition intervened militarily in favor of the Hadi-led government in 2015, who was disposed by the rebels led by Houthis militias, alleging him for indulging in corruption and mismanagement. The war has killed thousands of people. The Saudi-led land, sea and air blockade of the country has led to the serious lack of essential commodities, including food and medicine in the country. The situation has pushed millions of Yemenis on the verge of starvation and death, creating largest humanitarian crisis of the century, as per the UN. Despite the international condemnation and UN appeals, Saudi-led coalition with active US support continues its airstrikes and ground offensive against the Houthi government, which controls capital Sana'a and other northern and eastern areas of the country.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro on September 29 presented a draft anti-blockade law before the National Constituent Assembly ANC to confront the impact of the unilateral coercive measures imposed by the United States against his country.
The blockade is a state policy and must be responded to with state actions and tools that match the seriousness of the problem, said Maduro, urging the legislators to debate and approve the proposed bill in order to give the Bolivarian government institutional and legal tools that allow it to fight against the commercial blockade, economic and financial persecution, and other sanctions. According to the Venezuelan head of state, the regulation will promote new modalities that circumvent and defeat all the mechanisms of the U.S. blockade through adaptations and flexibilities of the national legal framework. The law allows the government to shield the 16 productive engines and advance in the creation of a real economy based on work, innovation, scientific knowledge, industrial and agricultural production, and the development of all our economic potentialities, and get out of the crisis induced by the blockade. Maduro denounced that the U.S. imposed the blockade against Venezuela to destroy the economy, destroy the state, and seize the vast resources and wealth of the country. He added that coercive measures are a way of cutting off financing to the country, which has prevented the Venezuelan state from having access to the foreign exchange necessary to purchase food, medicine, supplies, spare parts, and essential raw materials. It is an economic, financial, and commercial short circuit that has prevented us from obtaining the resources to strengthen the salary and benefit of workers, to feed them, save lives, educate our children, said Maduro, adding that in the last 6 years of economic war, the oil-rich country lost 99% of foreign exchange earnings. President Maduro assured that the anti-blockade law is the first step to reverse these effects and build legal instruments to respond to the imperialist aggression of the United States.
Finally, the UN Security Council has endorsed the General Secretary's call for immediate halt of hostilities after a closed-door meeting on issues on Tuesday. Rejecting the widespread international calls for peace and talks, the leadership of Armenia and Azerbaijan blamed each other for the ongoing clashes on Tuesday, September 29.
Talking to the Russian state television separately, Azeri President Ilham Aliyev and Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan asserted that there cannot be any talks while the fight continues. The UN Security Council held a closed-door meeting on the issue and issued condemnation of use of force by both the parties. It also endorsed the UN Secretary General's call for immediate end of hostilities and return to meaningful talks. On Tuesday, both sides accused each other of targeting civilian areas with scores killed. The military losses have not been reported. Armenia claimed on Tuesday that a Turkish fighter plane has shot down one of its warplanes, including Armenian territory. Turkey denied the allegation. Nagorno-Karabakh is a breakaway region of Azerbaijan with Armenian ethnic majority. At the time of the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, the region announced its independence from Azerbaijan, leading to a war between two Transcaucasian countries, Armenia and Azerbaijan. In 1994, a ceasefire between three parties, government of Azerbaijan, government of Armenia, and the leaders of the Nagorno-Karabakh was reached with the Russian mediation. The ceasefire agreement leaves a large part of the Azerbaijani territory under the Armenian control. The final resolution of the dispute is still pending, with conflicts flaring up from time to time. Current rounds of clashes started on Sunday, September 27, is considered to be the heaviest since the clashes in 2016 between both the countries.
For the international stories, credit to People's Dispatch for those stories. Up next is sports. Yesterday, Manchester United and Liverpool, the sport, have had a shock of their entire existence. Michael Entribosiak will give you details of those stories.
Good afternoon. Let's do some sports on the midday news. My name is Michael Nchubosi. Let's begin with some local news. And the Ghana Football Association has unveiled new set of jerseys to be used by the senior national team, the Black Stars of Ghana, for the 2020-2021 football season, sponsored by Puma. There is more to this in the following report.
The 2020-2021 home jersey is white with black kente-like design, weaved in, and black stars at heart with green Puma logo and red back collar. While the away jersey introduces traditional Ghana colors of red, gold, and green with black stars. Just like the home jersey, the yellow color dominates with bits of red and green, weaved like kente. Last week, pictures of the new leaked jersey sparked the debate on social media whether Ghana should revert to yellow jersey or stick to the white kits.
Yeah, still in the local football, and the head coach of Ghana's senior national team, Charles Kwame Akuno, has invited Caleb Ansah Ekuban and Joseph Pinto for the upcoming friendly games against Mali and Qatar. The matches will be played on October 9 and 12 in Turkish city of Antalya. There is more to this.
The two have been called upon to join the team representing Ghana for the Mali and Qatar friendly due to complications in the visa acquisition of John Antwi and Lumo Abenyenu. According to reports, Egypt-based striker John Antwi and Lumo Abenyenu of Sporting Lisbon have not been able to secure work visas to enable them travel, which means they won't be available for the two matches. Ekuban has been drafted as a replacement for John Antwi, whilst Pinto takes the place of Lumo. Also, South African-based shot stopper Richard Ofori has also been ruled out of the games because his work permit has expired and would require at least 2 weeks for it to be renewed, leaving coach CK Akono with two goalkeepers, Lawrence Atizigi and Razak Abalora, available for selection.
Yeah, so let's now travel to the world of NBA, and after somewhat dominant first two games, the Heat pulled off an improbable 115-104 win over the Lakers in Game 3 of the NBA Finals on Sunday. The Heat won without their starters Bam Adebayo and Goran Dragic, who are both nursing injuries. There is more to this in this NBA report.
It was the shot to the arm that the Heat needed to keep their championship hopes alive. The Heat twice had commanding advantages that the Lakers erased, leading by as much as 13 points in the first quarter and 16 points in the third quarter. They entered the fourth quarter up 5 points, 85-80. With few minutes left, Markieff Morris made 26-foot three-pointer to tie the score at 89-89, but the Heat quickly regained control, pushing their lead back up to as much as 13 points. The Lakers had 20 turnovers, 10 of which they committed in the first quarter, and were outscored in points in the paint 52-34. Butler, who is playing through a left ankle injury he sustained in Game 1, took advantage of the Lakers' sluggishness, dazzling with a spectacular 40 points, 11 rebounds, and 13 assists performance in 44 minutes. "I think we realize that we belong," Butler said in a walk-off interview. "They can be beaten." The Heat were 9-point underdogs, making Sunday's win the second largest upset in the NBA Finals in the last 30 seasons. With about 10 seconds left, LeBron James walked off the court before the final buzzer sounded. When asked if he did that out of frustration or because he erroneously thought the game was over early, he was honest, both, James said. James attributed the loss to a combination of poor effort and execution. James led the Lakers with 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. Kyle Kuzma and Morris each added 19 points. The Game 4 of the playoff finals comes off on Wednesday, October 7th, 2020 at the Advent Health Arena.
Yes, our condolences to the Manchester United and the Liverpool faithfuls are there, especially Justice Apia, the news anchor. My name is Michael Nchubuesiaku. Thanks for watching. Let me see you another time. Thank you.
Many thanks to Michael Nchubuesiaku for the sports update. Unfortunately, the whole of yesterday I didn't eat because my team was actually scored. I've promised not to eat the whole of today also, but away from that, let's do some entertainment story. Ghanaian rapper and fashion designer Nanaya Oyeboaje, known in showbiz circles as Guru, has revealed that the once vibrant music industry is inactive and dysfunctional. Speaking on Pan-African Television's Swift show, he further indicated that awards dished out by VGMA to artists should be done solely on merit.
It was about my 10 years experience in Ghana show business, the industry. Do we have an industry? We have an industry. Do we active the industry? Is the industry working like the way it's supposed to? Things not working out. You can blame the government. You can blame everybody. This is where I picked up my point. It was about an awards that I made a comment of. The VGMA has got a board. The board has got like a couple of people in there, different people. And to me, it is a competitive world. You don't have to have people that sort of like having any affiliation among themselves. But I said, this guy owns a record label. He's part of the board that decides on who is to be on it. What are you doing? There is a possibility, sir. Self-interest will come in. Affiliations don't work. So if 10 years of my career, and although used to be a musical president and he was part of the board, Richie that played Killing the Game song, that was a little bit highlighted in Kasebo song. Killing the Game, you have that same engineer as part of the board. What are you saying? What message are you communicating? And looking at my growth in this industry, with all this back-to-back for 10 years, what have I accomplished in terms of awards? What legacy? People read about us. With all this, what did you get out of it? Now, this is where you put me in a corner that makes me believe. And there has been comment. The first time I picked up Hip Life Song of the Year, one of the board members shared my backstage. He said, so I felt like, wow, compensate me, and that's more of like, just I didn't cry. I just want him a mobile. I don't deserve it.
You don't deserve it.
Then I feel like we have a problem.
Well, that's how we draw the curtains on today's edition of Pan-African News Radio on Pan-African Television. But before we go, a recap of our headlines. UPP launches manifesto and outdoors flag bearer. Former President Jerry John Rawlings has asked Electoral Commission to ensure integrity in the upcoming December polls. Volta Regional Minister has said he will sue anybody claiming that he supports Togolanders. Later in business, we brought you workers urged to invest in Tier 3 pension scheme. Keep watching Pan-African Television. My name is Justice Apia, but let me remind you that we are on all the social media platforms at Pan-African Television. Kindly follow us and watch all our live programs. Up next is Youth Empowerment Show by Richmond Amofa Sapon. Goodbye.